What's happening, Hardscapers? This is episode 260 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, we have a continuation of our marketing series that we started earlier this year. We have 3 parts already out. We have part number 1, creating a client avatar. We have part number 2, where to find your client avatar. And part number 3, making content for your client avatar. And in today's episode, we do a review of just what I'm doing in my business, where we're at in terms of our marketing, different percentages of where our leads are coming from, the cost of acquisition of those leads, and the creative behind what we're doing for this, and using this data to budget more precisely for your marketing moving forward through the year. If this marketing content interests you at all, let me know. I would love to hear your feedback. Just shoot me a message at How to Hardscape on Instagram, and that way I just know that these types of episodes are valuable and they're helpful in some sort of way. And while you're on Instagram, go check out Cycle CPA. That's cycle_CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. And if you're looking for a software to jump into this season, the How to Hardscape headquarters software can help you budget, estimate job cost, time track, schedule, and so much more. Send me a message if you want to learn more about that, or go to members.howtohardscape.com. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Just to get up to speed with where we're at in this marketing series, at the top of the year, I talked about 3 different parts. I broke this up in 3 different parts, from creating a client avatar in part number 1. In here, we discussed about what is your client? Where are they? Who are they? Where do they live? What is their age, income, location, their job, their marital status? Do they have kids, pets, the interests that they have, and so on here. It's going to help us to actually find where they're at, whether it's a certain platform or just in the offline world, not the online, and to be able to create content specifically for that client's avatar. Part number 2 was talking about where to find that client avatar, where to create that content, where to publish that content, or where to run ads. And we talked about a few different strategies to get in front of your client or your potential client. And whether that is using your time or using your money, or a bit of both, to be able to get in front of that potential client. There's lots of different ways to do this. It's not all just about paid advertisement. You can do this where you sacrifice your time and not your money, but there's usually some sort of balance between those two, or a mixture of both. Whether you're going to spend your time doing door-to-door, or you're going to spend your money running Facebook ads, or maybe a mixture of both, with starting a website and doubling down on SEO on your website to get to the top of search engine results. And that could be your marketing plan right there. Part number 3, we then discussed creating that content specifically for that client avatar. And that should be focusing on their pain points, their desires, what they really want, addressing any roadblocks that might be preventing them from getting what they want. What I say is you should focus directly on the results or their desires, and focus indirectly on their fears or their pain points. So for example, if their fear might be that they fear getting the wrong contractor because they've been screwed in the past by other contractors, which may not be a contractor problem, could also be the client problem. But if that is a fear that they have, you don't want to address that directly. You don't want to say, I am a trustful contractor. First thing that comes to mind when somebody says that they are trustful or they do quality work, I think right away, why do they have to say that? Are they really trustful, or do they really do quality work? Instead, just show that. Show that in your work. Show that in your content. For example, reviews, very good reviews will show that you could be a trustful contractor, rather than having to say, hey, I'm a trustful contractor. And then directly focus on the results, their desires, to show them that you can do what they want to have complete for them. And then present your company value to them as well. What value does your company bring that other companies may not bring? For example, I'm an owner-operator. I'm in the field 100% of the time. I'm dealing with that client 100% of the time, from the sales to the design to the build. So that is my value that I bring to that client, that they're not going to be playing phone tag with somebody or getting things lost in translation from the salesperson to the designer to the people in the field, that I am the one communicating with them throughout and they have direct contact with me throughout. And I've been using this both in the past and present to help me guide my marketing plan, essentially. Whether that is through my website, which I hadn't given it a lot of focus up until this past off season. I'd just been focused on mostly the How to Hardscape website, which is fine for me at least. I then very much transferred more to YouTube the past 2.5 years because I saw potential there, as well as to have zero cost marketing. It doesn't cost me anything. In fact, I get paid to market myself and my business and bring in leads to my business through it. But also YouTube videos specifically help with all those different things that I talked about in terms of showing them what I offer, potential clients what I offer, and focusing directly on the results. But then I turn around and use those videos also in my proposals to the client, to potential clients. And that's actually been something that has helped me quite a bit this year and last year, is having that database of videos of any type of project that I quote, that I can just pull the hyperlink from that, share it with them within the proposal. It's so that they can see me, my face, and show them installing. And that has helped tremendously, because I always ask my clients, hey, why did you end up going with me? And were you getting other bids from other contractors? And the number one thing that I hear, and that's not like more than 50%, it's probably closer to about a third of clients say, I just really liked how detailed your proposals were. A lot more people just say that they weren't getting other bids, or it was just a word of mouth client or a referral, or they just liked me and wanted to go ahead with the project as they saw it there. And if they found me through online, typically they already know that I'm a contractor that they want to go with based on what I'm showing in my videos or through my content. Even on the website that we have now with Ever After Landscaping, it's very detailed in our processes and what we do on every single landing page. So there's a lot of value in that as well. And we link those in our proposals as well to show them what we do and how we do it. All that to say is just we've got a marketing plan in place that has taken some time, but we are starting to see it pay off. And that is the foundation to which I hope to grow my business from in the future from this. But getting into our paid marketing and what we've done so far this year, I think it'll be helpful to go through the percentage from these different lead sources as to where our leads are coming from. So in terms of SEO on our website, 44% of our leads are coming from just search engine optimization. And I know this specifically because a lot of these are drainage leads, and that's something that I'm ranking very high up for on my website. And when it comes to SEO, it really helps to try to rank at first for those lesser competitive keywords. So not going after landscaping company, but going after maybe hardscaping company. Probably not the best example because not a lot of people are really searching for hardscaping companies, but maybe the interlock contractor or interlock installer, retaining wall installer, retaining wall contractor, and so on and so forth, and making sure that the content that is on that actual landing page is really good and better than the person that you're going to be competing against. So just doing that, doing a quick Google search will show you who's ranking in those top 10 results, and you can go into each of those 10 pages and see what that content actually looks like. It's always best to do this through a incognito tab so that it doesn't pull up results specific to you, but rather what a guest would be getting or somebody who has not searched this before would be getting. And then going into each page and seeing how many words have they written, how many photos do they have, how many videos do they have on that page, and so on and so forth. And then just trying to match that or do even better than that as well. There's a lot more to SEO that we've talked about in the past, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole there. And so 44% of our leads have come from SEO, and I haven't closed a whole lot from that because I do pre-qualify really a lot. I put a lot of effort into my pre-qualification, and I haven't gone to many leads, consultations from leads coming from our website from SEO. So about 10% of our jobs on the schedule come from our website through SEO. Then we get into Google Ads. We have spent $1,700 and 11% of our leads have come from Google Ads. It's a very low number. And having said that, we'll revisit how many of those leads I've actually closed. 5% of our leads have come from YouTube. This is lower than what I saw last year by a little bit. About 10% of our leads came from YouTube last year, probably closer to about 7, but they are typically really good qualified leads. I've gone to 1 or 2 consultations from YouTube, and the last one that I went to was probably one of my least favorite, my worst consultations that I've ever experienced. It was brutal. And maybe we'll talk about that on the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. That could be a good story for that. My supplier has really come through for leads, sending me leads, and 15% of my leads have come from my supplier as referrals. This is up quite a bit. I don't think I got any leads last year from my supplier. And that is always good to have, free leads. And then Facebook, 26%, and that is from Facebook ads specifically. 26% have come from Facebook. Now, a lot of these I'm still in the process, especially my Facebook ads, because I just launched a campaign a week or so ago, and we'll be talking about that in this episode. And so I've still got a lot to talk about when it comes to closing ratios and everything with that. I have this year a 62.5% close ratio from proposals sent out. Now I'm still waiting back from quite a few proposals, and I'll be following up this week on some of those that got sent out last week. Maybe even 2 weeks ago, I sent out quite a bit of proposals. So I expect that number to increase quite a bit. And I would say that of all my leads, I would say I've gone to about 40% or less, probably about 33%. To 1 out of every 3 leads that I get, I actually schedule a consultation. And I think that's pretty generous. So a 62.5% of close ratio based on actually sending them a proposal. And I don't even send every consultation a proposal. Especially that last one that I went on from YouTube. That was a brutal one, and I'll just send them a nice email that I don't think will be a good fit from that. So I don't even send every consult a proposal. It depends on also how I feel about them, how I feel about the project as well. Now let's go back to the beginning here and talk about the percentage of which I close these leads and how many jobs it makes up of my total jobs. So SEO, I said that 44% of my leads come from SEO. 10% of those I close into jobs so far this season. And a lot of that has to do with what I'm ranking for right now. And I'm very particular on the type of drainage jobs that I take on. So I get a lot of drainage leads, and most of them I just pass on. So that's a very important distinguishing factor of SEO. And right now that makes up about 20% of my schedule in terms of how many, the number of jobs. So 10% of my SEO leads I close, and that makes up about 20% of the total jobs that I have on the schedule. Booked out about 4 to 6 weeks at the moment right now. So keep that in mind. Google Ads, I close 45% of Google Ads. Now, SEO, my closing ratio should be higher than just 10%. And that's based on leads, not actual consultations that I've gone to. So that doesn't play into factor to the 62.5% close ratio based on proposals sent. 45% of the Google Ads leads I close, and that's because it's very qualified leads that come in through Google. Once again, going back to if somebody is searching on Google and you are targeting that keyword, hopefully it is a keyword that has somebody looking for a contractor and looking for the services that you offer. So they're actually specifically going out there and trying to find somebody to solve their problem. And hopefully it's a problem that you solve, and that's why you're targeting it. So it is very qualified leads coming in versus if you throw up Facebook ads, you're just getting in front of people in certain regions, areas, but you don't necessarily know that they are specifically looking for work to get done. So that's a very important distinguishing factor when it comes to choosing a marketing method that works best for you. So 45% of the Google Ads leads I close, and that works out to 37% of my total jobs on the schedule. So that was Google Ads. YouTube, 0%. I haven't closed any. I do have a good feeling about one, so maybe 33%. And that'll be a big spike up just because I haven't gotten too many leads. I've got 3 leads from YouTube this year, which is down quite a bit from what I got last year at this time. And then Facebook, let's see here. We've got 25% of the leads that come in through Facebook, I close. And that works out to be about 50% of the projects, a little bit less than 50% of the projects that I have on schedule or have already completed this year. So Facebook has done really good for me, and we'll talk about more about that. 10% of my supplier referrals I've closed, and that works out to be about 10% or so of the leads that I've got on the schedule or have already completed this year. So let's just talk about the big picture of this here. The best leads are the referral leads, the ones that don't cost you any money. That's the obvious thing. Supplier referrals, amazing. Getting leads from YouTube, incredible. Especially if you are getting paid on YouTube for your videos anyways, that's even better. SEO leads, good. You just need to have a very good communication on or landing page that people are visiting to communicate your company's value. Otherwise, you're getting a lot of tire kickers or people that are just emailing anybody that they possibly can find on search engine results. So that's where creating a web page or a landing page for each of your services comes into play to really display that, hey, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and this is why you should hire us. So once again, going back to the creative and being able to directly show them their desires, their results, and that you can do that, and indirectly show them that you are a good contractor, a contractor that's trustworthy and can complete the project for them. Reviews is the easiest way to do that, and you can show that all on one web page, and that's helped me with the SEO clients that I have closed. And I specifically ask my clients why they go with me, and that was a big thing for them with that. So much like how I do it with my proposals, my landing pages are set up the same way with the content, the videos, and everything that they could possibly want from that. So that is a big thing when it comes to SEO, as well as choosing terms to rank for that you're actually willing to do the work for. That has been a problem for me personally, and focusing on fixing that and getting in front of clients and the services that I do want to offer more and more with that. But now that we got out the way that, hey, the best leads are the ones that are free, that's obvious. And you should be focusing on how you can increase those. But what about the paid leads that come into your business? What are the best results for that? Well, the only paid leads that we do in my business are Google Ads and Facebook ads. So we're going to compare the two, and we're going to help to create a marketing budget and to update that budget through the year based on what you are seeing for your business. So when it comes to Google Ads, I've spent $1,700 so far this year on Google Ads, and I've actually stopped my campaigns. So $1,700 paid, stopped, and I have a cost of acquisition of $566 per client. If you do the math, that's 3 clients that I've made from Google Ads. Now you also need to do the math on how much money those clients have actually brought to you. And I'm not talking about revenue. I don't care how much revenue I've made. At the very least, revenue minus materials. I don't like including materials in whatever a client has brought into my business or anything like that, or just in gross profit alone. Materials are not going to change. A 500 square foot patio costs the materials what a 500 square foot patio is going to cost. That's not going to change. And you're not going to whittle down your supplier. You want to preserve that relationship. So you're not going to try to get them down a little bit more to make a little bit more money on that. So a 500 square foot patio is going to cost what a 500 square foot patio costs in terms of materials alone. It's not like you're going to work really hard and your client's going to see that and you're going to get away with giving them a 400 square foot patio even though they paid for a 500 square foot patio. So materials, I don't even want to even bother including it in my revenue, especially for my business that does do a mix of lift and relay work and new build work, that I really want to focus in on gross profit, at the very least, revenue minus materials. So that would be including the labor portion of that in my business. And then you might say, well, what about the material markup? That's money that we make. Yeah, that's your overhead recovery. That goes into the gross profit side of things. So this is why I just don't like factoring materials into what I'm making, as well as trying to recover overhead on materials. And I've talked about this at length in previous episodes, so that is something that I'm just going to put to bed there. That is Google Ads, $566, $1,700 spent, 3 leads from Google Ads. Now we get into the Facebook side of things. In Facebook, I played around with a few different things this year so far, and we have $1,200 spent, and that is $300 per client per acquisition, and if you do the math there, 4 clients that we have signed up through Facebook ads. Now, I spent a lot of money experimenting with Facebook ads, so that number should really be lower. I spent money on different types of campaigns to see how they would work and to see which ones would do best. And it was a very light testing. If I was really testing it, probably be closer to about $5,000 that I should have spent on what I was testing. But I have launched from my test a good campaign that has already worked out well. That is a lead focus campaign. And what I was trying to do before was to send them to my website to test my landing pages, to see if I have created good landing pages for a client that might be scrolling Facebook and might see my ad and want to maybe book my services. So I was really testing out my landing pages on my websites. $300 per client, I would pay that no problem, as long as it's making me the money that I would want it to make. Now, how do you relate this to how much, what makes it a good amount of money to spend? Ultimately, if you use this data of how much it costs you per lead and you create a budget and incorporate this into your overhead. So you're saying, you know what, if we just continue with Facebook, I know that I need 30 signed up clients this year to fill out my schedule based on the average amount of time that a project takes us that's coming from Facebook. I can say that, okay, 30 signed up clients, not 30 leads, 30 signed up clients is going to cost me $300 per client. I can then take that and just say, okay, it's going to be about $9,000 to be able to then incorporate that into my overhead expenses. And from that, I can expect to fill out my schedule specifically from Facebook leads, as long as Facebook leads is the only thing that I'm going to be doing when it comes to spending money on marketing. However, you want to compare it back to your Google ads, because your Google ads might be better projects that are taking longer or taking up more time in the schedule. And maybe that's the type of projects that you want to take on. So even though it's $566 per signed up client, that could be a much more valuable client to you than the $300 Facebook ads. Then you need to consider that this price point might fluctuate throughout the year. For example, when services are more in demand, that price per signed up client is going to decrease in price. There's more demand, for those services. It's just a marketplace when it comes to bidding for advertisement on Facebook, Google, and so on. So this is what the lowest should be, what the lowest price point for these leads or these signed up clients coming into cost per acquisition of these clients coming into our business should be. As we get into the summer, that demand is going to slow down as kids get out of school, parents become a little bit more busy, spend more time with their kids, and less focus on getting things done. And then we'll see another spike, smaller than what we see in this spring rush, around September when kids go back to school and maybe they try to sign something up before the end of the year. So those are kind of our two demand spikes that we experience, but this would be the time to launch a paid advertisement because this is going to be the lowest that it's going to be. That being said, if you don't have good targeting, if you don't have good creative or content to use, you should go back to part 1, 2, and 3 and focus more so on that of our marketing series here. And then, of course, there's longer term plays with search engine optimization, spending time or money on that and your website, and maybe even focusing on your supplier referrals and building better relationships with them, getting onto YouTube or other social media platforms that you feel appeal to your strengths the best. There's a reason why I'm not super active on Instagram. I don't think the short form content is the best thing for me and for my business. I think the long form content is the best thing for my own creativity, my own pursuits, as well as it just aligns better with my business goals. So that's why I've really doubled down on YouTube rather than Instagram in my business. So we talked about cost of acquisition, my $300 for Facebook, my $566 for Google Ads. But you'll see a lot, especially of marketers, sharing results of, well, these leads, I got my clients a bunch of leads and it cost me $20 per lead or whatever and whatnot. I shared something on my Instagram stories not too long ago of how my marketing has been doing, at least when I took the screenshot, at about anywhere from $15 to $25 per lead coming into the business. But if those leads aren't converting, you're targeting the wrong audience, or your content, your creative is off. It's not showing exactly what you do. So even though my cost per lead on Facebook is around a little bit less than $25, my cost per acquisition, which is really what we're focusing on, I don't care about my cost per lead. I care about my cost per acquisition, is $300. And that's what I should be more focused on. And I've got 5 consultations this week of clients from Facebook. So that cost per acquisition, if I sign up, let's say the amount of times I go to consultations and I actually close that client is around 20%. Maybe I'll close one of these 5, and that will get me to a cost per acquisition of $225 per acquisition. So this is something that constantly changes and fluctuates, especially when you're first starting out in the season. But as the season progresses, you'll get to a better number of knowing what your cost per acquisition is. And then you get these benchmarks in your business year after year, season after season, to see where the market is at, but also to be able to test different marketing strategies and different pieces of content to help you get that number down as much as possible. I want my marketing spend to be less than 2.5% of my gross profit margin. That's revenue minus materials or cost of sale minus direct labor. I want my marketing spend to be less than 2.5%. If I'm over that, I know I'm off on my benchmark somewhere. I'm want to be closer to about 1%. That would be ideal of my gross profit margin. But at least that's going to give you a starting point when it comes to setting that budget for your marketing. And then you can adjust as the season progresses, because that is going to fluctuate. And that's where coming back to your budget and updating it, especially if you are doing other marketing tactics or methods, including like home shows or anything like that. Those are, at least with home shows, you know exactly what you're going to be spending on that specific home show. You can add that into your overhead. But ongoing marketing expenses like paid ads, that may fluctuate, and you might see your cost of acquisition increase, decrease throughout the year, and especially based on certain demand periods. So now to just close out what we've been talking about here, and all these different numbers that I'm throwing at you. I hope this makes sense. I really do. And maybe I can clarify myself a little bit better on a future marketing episode. I want to take one of my pieces of content that I used on Facebook ads. It's a video. Obviously, this is a podcast. You're only going to hear the audio. But I just want to break down what I did and why I'm saying what I'm saying in this video to hopefully help maybe you create your own piece of content that you would want to target on Facebook ads. We want to take a break from today's episode to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. It's crucial to review your financial statements on a monthly basis so you can diagnose areas for improving your business's financial health early before they become significant issues. Too many contractors wait until the end of the year to review their financials as they file taxes, when it's often too late to take action to change the outcome. Cycle CPA not only handles bookkeeping and taxes, but they also ensure that you're armed with financial data on a monthly basis to make key business decisions. They offer benchmarking, cash flow forecasting, and assistance in developing targets for financial metrics. With their team of accountants specialized in the hardscape and landscape industry, they currently work with hundreds of companies in this field. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. Okay, here is my Facebook ad, the audio at least of what we showed, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I'm actually showing when I'm talking through this when I hit pause here at the end.
Hi, Kitchener homeowners. If you're looking for an outdoor living space like this, we've got you covered at Ever After Landscaping.
Right away, I want to capture that person's attention that's just scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And I do that with having a visual of my face in one portion of the video so that they know who's talking to them specifically. And within the background, a nice outdoor living space that we've built. So that captures that image. But I also want to call them out specifically and something that is specific to them so that they know I'm specifically speaking to that person. And I do that by calling out their city name. Hey, city, insert city name here, homeowner. That way they know specifically I'm talking to them. It's not just another noise in their feed or whatever. This is a little bit more organic, that they might even not see that it is a sponsored ad, that it could just be something that showed up in their timeline, as opposed to just like another Lay's commercial or Crest commercial that's just showing up in their feed. It's also not well put to, it's not a professional video, a professional looking video. It's literally me with my DSLR camera, holding it by hand, stretched out, vlog style, just talking to them.
We specialize in the design and build of outdoor spaces, including things like these steps, our privacy screens here, as well as everything that you see in behind me here. Fire pits, patios, walkways, pavers, retaining walls, and even ponds in the background.
And it's that first 3 to 5 seconds that I've done this to show that I'm talking specifically to them, to create that intimacy a little bit, and to show what I might be talking about, especially with the background there. And I say that we are a landscaping company. Then I get specifically into what we do and what we can do for them. And this is where it gets a little bit more professional, where we're adding B-roll. I'm not just carrying my camera around to these different spots. I'm actually inserting video footage on top of my audio to show these different features that we've built in multiple different areas or projects that we've done, to show the best of the best. So at this point, I'm just listing off, hey, continue listening if you're looking for an outdoor living space, if you're looking for a fire feature, a pond, a retaining wall, etc., etc. And I show them that we can build these by showing the final results with them.
We want to work with you to get your space designed and built. I'm the owner and operator, so I work with you every step of the process, and I'm here on site getting my hands dirty each and every day. So rest assured you're in good hands.
And then this is where I talk about the perceived value that we add from my company. I'm the owner operator. I'm in the field 100% of the time. I'm dealing with you 100% of the time. You call me, I am the one getting my hands dirty, and I show the camera that my hands are dirty because they were on filming this. These spontaneous, anytime I'm on site, I'm filming these types of things because I never know when I can use them in the future. And then going back to the very beginning of the video, I was just doing some cleaning at a previous project that I'd done. So I actually, the very first part where I call out the city and homeowner of who I'm talking to, I actually filmed those all in one day in one spot and just rattled off. We service 6 or 7 cities. So I just went city by city and say, hey, City X homeowners, hey, City Y homeowner, and just filmed a bunch of these all in one day. And now I can use that, and then I can use this longer video that I've created. And now I've got multiple ads because I will use this creative and create multiple different ad sets or campaigns to target all these different areas. So now when I'm targeting Kitchener homeowners, in my ad set on Facebook, I'm specifically targeting postal codes that I want to target or areas that I want to target within the city. I'm not targeting the city itself or even beyond the city. I actually go onto Google and I search most affluent neighborhoods or whatever you want to search, replace that affluent with whatever you want. And it'll actually come up top 10 neighborhoods in X city with highest cost of living or most affluent or whatever it might be. And then I will decide which ones I want to target and add those into my ad set. So that's how I go about targeting with that and how that's helped me there. That is what I was talking about so then I this is my perceived value. I speak about it specifically in the ad. I show my hands are dirty. It's a little bit funny, goofy there. That also helps. I have had 2 people who have called me and one person specifically asked, is this the guy from Ever After Landscaping? Is this the guy that has his hands dirty? And then 2 others, actually, one emailed me, said they really liked my ad. And then another one that called me said, I like that you show that your hands are dirty in the ad. So these types of goofy little funny things that you can add to it helps stick in the client's mind a little bit. So if you can add those little things, especially throughout your ad, it does help in that. But that's my perceived value. That's what I offer my client and what I can do for them.
When you sign up with us, contact us or email us on our website or in a contact form somewhere here, and we'll get you started.
And then finally, we get into our call to action. That is letting them know you're going to see something here. Contact us. We can get you started. Just a little reminder, just like asking for a like and subscribe or a follow or whatever. Just a little reminder to somebody who might be watching, who might have just gotten carried away with whatever I was talking about, that, hey, contact us if you want to get started with your outdoor project. You can add a little bit of scarcity in there and say that we are booking up. We only have a few spots remaining. Whether or not you believe in the ethics of if you actually are booking up or not, scarcity does work. Adding an offer in there also does work. I haven't really messed around with offers too much. I don't like I've seen offers, people talking about how if you book a consultation with us, we give you a $20 gift card somewhere or something. I don't get it. The even worse thing that I hate is that you'll get money off your estimate or whatever. It doesn't make sense to me. It's a project-based business. Are you actually giving that money? I've never understood those. One thing that you could do is offer some sort of cleaning and sealing service 30 days afterwards, if they sign up with you in the next few days or something like that. That's an offer that I have thought about, but I have never actually used. But scarcity offers, those things do absolutely work in terms of getting your contacts up there and to get them higher. It's not always just about leads. It's also about the end goal, acquiring that client, signing them up, getting them on your schedule. And that's what we're looking at. And we're comparing that number, not our cost per lead, our cost per acquisition or cost of acquisition, to then compare to our gross profit margin to see if we're falling in good benchmarks to make good money. Because at the end of the day, we're not a nonprofit. We are here to make money. And I hope this has helped you. Every lead that comes into my business, I add their information into our software, the How to Hardscape headquarters software, because I can use their information now in the future to send them an email 1 year down the road and say, hey, we have in our system that you contacted us in regards to X service. We're now filling up our schedule for this service at the beginning of this year, and we want to reach out to you to see if you are interested in following back. I've had clients. I've done this year where I've emailed previous clients and asked them, "Are you still interested?" And I signed up 2 from that email, and that is a cost of acquisition of 0 for this year, to just go through, send a quick email. And within our software, you're going to be able to do that instantly as long as you've added them to the system, and you can tag them whether they were a lead, or you went on a consultation with them, or you sent them a proposal, or they were an actual approved project. Because then now in the future, you can say, I want to send an email to everybody that we sent a proposal to last year that never accepted their proposal. And I want to say, hey, we saw that you got a proposal from us last year and just wanted to see if you wanted to revisit that and get you on our schedule. We are booking up, so we want to make sure that we have time for you this year to get you on the schedule. And those are free leads, There's no cost per acquisition of those clients in this calendar year if you reach out to them, because all of that money that you spent to maybe get that lead was all factored into last year, the previous season, or whenever you actually got that lead. So that's also something to consider there. Oh, I hope that episode made sense. I hope that you got something from this, that this helped you in some way with your marketing. If there's any questions that I can help with further, if there's anything else, if you enjoy these types of marketing episodes, I would love to hear from you. Send me a message at HowToHardscape on Instagram. Thank you so much for bearing with me through this. And if you haven't listened to it, I would highly suggest you go back. Marketing Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. That was back in our catalog. Going back to, I believe it was December 25th, 2023, Marketing Part 1, Creating a Client Avatar, and Marketing Part 2, 2 weeks later on January 8th, Where to Find Your Client Avatar, and Marketing Part 3, Making Content for Your Client's Avatar on January 22nd. I also had another marketing episode November 13th, 2023, just highlighting my marketing strategy for 2024. That's just called Marketing in 2024. And that just talks more about my strategy to focus more so on YouTube rather than Instagram. Remember, all of these social media platforms, they do not belong to you. Your handles, everything that you do there, it does not belong to you. Instagram, all these companies can shut you down at any point in time, and it does become really hard to get back your account. It's happened to people that I know. I remember way back 3 years ago, somebody talking to me about how all their leads come from Instagram. They don't need a website. It doesn't make sense. The Instagram is their portfolio and so on, whatnot and what forth. They didn't get shut down by Instagram, but they clicked on a link that got them hacked and they never got their account back. Now they've got a website, because why would you not have a website? Instagram, Facebook, they don't care. I had one of my advertising accounts shut down, and this was my Ever After Landscaping account. This was 2 years ago now, and it just got shut down. I couldn't run ads on it anymore. I could still post organically. I still have the account, but Facebook decided to shut down my ad privileges. And for 2 years, I went back and forth with them, sometimes getting through to them, sometimes not. They make it unbelievably difficult. And the first couple of times that I got through to them, they do an audit or whatever. They look into it, and then they come back with, no, we can't do. And then the second time, they finally leaked that it was a copyright strike or something like that in my ads. And I had to, at that point, with me having a YouTube channel or whatever, it's either somebody that saw I Am a Hardscaper on YouTube, saw that I was using those videos in my face on Ever After Landscaping, maybe didn't make the distinction, decided to copyright it. Could have been somebody that didn't like me that just decided to copyright it. Could have been just a misunderstanding, or somebody got sick and tired of my ads and my face showing up in their timeline, so they decided to strike that. and Facebook does not tell you what piece of content got copyrighted, so you can't even defend yourself and show them. They don't care to give you any more information besides that. You can't go above the person that you're talking to. You can't do anything. It was the biggest waste of time, and I probably reached out to them on different occasions 5 or 6 times throughout those 2 years, and I can't believe how brutal it was. And at the end of the day, I just know, like, that just solidifies things in my mind. Facebook, these social media platforms, they do not care about you. They don't. So yeah, just keep that in mind, that any content that you do create could be wiped out and without any warning, and it could be gone, and you would be left with just the time that you've invested into that. So just keep that in mind. Have a website, have an email list. Those are things that definitely do belong to you and won't be taken down. So think about that. I hope that has helped. Like I said, send me a message if you do like these types of episodes, and if it has helped in any way, but also any questions that you want me to cover in a future marketing episode. I'd be happy to help you with anything based on marketing there. And if it does help you, 5-star rating, review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a written review there. Spotify, it's just a couple of clicks to leave a 5-star rating. I would really appreciate that. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. And the How to Hardscape headquarters software can help you with budgeting, estimating, job costing, time tracking, scheduling, and so much more. Reach out to me at How to Hardscape on Instagram or members.howtohardscape.com to learn more about that. And we look forward to meeting with you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.